That's crazy. All right. All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. It is Tuesday, September 6th, 2022. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join me this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like button. If you like these videos, share them with anyone as you please. Love to do these videos with you guys. Comment any of your questions and make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell for the new videos that are coming out soon. Let's go ahead and get started. The Dow is up 180 this morning, off a little bit off its highs. NASDAQ up 0.54%. S&P futures, which I have in front of me right now, I'll bring up the daily. We're going to talk about that. Up 0.61% at 39.48. The Russell is up 0.69%, outperforming all the majors. Let's get started with the S&P futures, and then we'll go round the horn on the rest. Trend line. First thing I talked about on Twitter as well, this trend line here. First thing I want to do this morning, if I was, I guess if the bell just rang this morning, the first thing I would do is take a look at the 400 calls on SPY. I think that we hold this trend line here. And again, I could just draw this again as well. So let's draw that trend line for SPY. We'll go from wick to wick. We'll go here at the bottom to this wick here. As you can see, then I'll extend it to the right to make sure it's nice and symmetrical. Keep in mind, we also have a couple of gaps to fill that we talked about, but again, that 390 level, it seems to be holding up. We are not trading at 394.82. I would target the 400 calls for this week. That would probably be the first trade I want to go and take a look at. So I think we hold this trend line. We'll get above the 50. Maybe we'll probably test the 100 day. We have a lot of Fed speakers this week. We know how hawkish they are. In terms of economic data, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's see, go to Forex Factory, and we'll go to this week. And we have OPEC meetings, and the first thing they did was call to cut production. So we have crude oil now trading at 0.06%, but yet Brent crude is down about, I think, about 3 or 2.5%. Let's go ahead and take a look here. We have PMI, ISM services. That's today at 10 a.m. Anything above 50 is an expansion. The forecast is 55. FOMC members speak tomorrow. We have Barr, Brainerd, and Mester. Beige Book, not a huge deal. Fed Chair Powell will speak 9 a.m. on Thursday to participate in a moderated discussion at the Cato Institute's annual monetary conference via satellite. Audience questions to be expected. So this is kind of part of the thing I'm watching here. Jackson Hole's speech, where we fell like a rock that day, he didn't take any questions. He's very hawkish, I've noticed, in his actual speech, but yet when it comes to Q&As, he's dovish as he can get. So again, I think that we do end up the week higher. I think we hold this trend line, and I'll go ahead and give my target for the week right around that 100-day moving average of 403.92. That's kind of the high-end watermark. The low-end benchmark, I'll say 401.29. We'll stay between the 100 and the 50-day moving average, in my opinion, this week, as long as we hold 390. If we break below 390, then I want to short immediately and get to 378.96. I will take a look at the 385 puts, 380 puts, or so on and so forth. So again, we have some levels here. Again, let's go and place that alert here on SPY. I know I get those questions about SPY all the time. So we're right here at 389.96, 97. If we get that break, let's go ahead and target this gap fill. But I expect us to continue to hold this here and get to around 401. They'll probably sell it. If we get higher up, we'll get to 403. I don't expect much for a short week, to be honest. I think we start staying around this area here, 401 to around 395. We're right around 394.65 currently. Let's go ahead and talk the volatility index. The VIX is up 0.43%. Again, remember this trend line we talked about on the daily. 2770 is my resistance here. Kind of a triple top on the daily here. If you want to, not a triple top, excuse me. We have 3 candle wicks that rejected. 225 or below is your 200-day. If we break below that, then it gets really interesting for us to cook a little higher on S&P. Take a look at the dollar index as the world burns and turns. 110 above on the dollar. We officially broke out of that trend line. Look at that. This is a multi-year chart. We are now above it. The next Fibonacci level from those lows are 114.76. So we may have more room to run. If you are someone that trades Forex, keep an eye on dollar strength to continue. I would target possibly 148 on dollar yen, 147 and a quarter. And then we have euro dollar below parity. Oh, let's see that. And again, if you're bullish on the dollar, you're shorting euro dollar. I mean, you start talking about getting into a range of 95 cents to 90 on a weekly chart. So on the daily chart, we're breaking past every major support that you can think of. We'll go ahead and head up to yields here. 10-year yields continue to rise as well, 3.258%. That'll dampen demand on homes. That'll dampen demand on mortgages. Keep that in mind. Financials will probably do a little better just for the simple fact that, again, higher rates are pretty strong for financials. But the 2-year needs to rise a little more as well as it has been. I mean, it needs to come down a little bit, excuse me. Remember, the banks borrow at the 2 and they lend at the 10. 3258, we have an inverted yield curve, not the best thing for financials, but again, we want a raised interest rates. If we want interest rates to go higher, just not inverted higher for financials. This is an XLF chart below the 50-day on the daily. Looks like, again, if we start getting a stronger 10-year and a really, really overcooked 2-year, then I expect financials to drop a little bit or at least be underperforming the broader market. That was a lot to say. Let's answer some questions. Do you think the dollar continues higher? I do. Again, that was the big level, the 110 level. The interesting part is that stocks don't seem to care. So really what we're looking at is the technicals. And it just seems that that trend line is going to hold up for us at 390. It's gotten close, but let's see if it holds. Morning, Carlos. Thoughts on Apple calls for next week? You know what? Apple does have the presentation this week. I think, is that a presentation? 2022. Let's get the exact date. I want to say it's this week because I can't wait to see it. Let's see here. Apple event, Apple event. Let's see if I can get the exact day.
Tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Okay, so tomorrow is 10 a.m. for the Apple release of the new iPhone. Wow, really tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to pre-order mine because I have to have it. Juan is here. One of our staff, our VP, one of our teachers here hanging with me at the office. We're going to go ahead and get to work very, very soon. But again, in terms of Apple, let's go and bring up the daily to give us a little more clarity. We filled this gap here at 157.67. We have a 100-day moving average here at 153.27. We are above or slightly below the 50 right now based on the current ask price of 156.77. You could use the 50-day as a jump off point, but again, with this unveilment tomorrow, I expect the premiums to be a little juiced. So I would kind of wait till after the conference to trade Apple. What caused the sell-off on Friday? You're talking about, make sure, the sell-off on Friday. This is the 29th. When was the Jackson Hole speech? Was that on? No, it was not on Friday. Again, the sell-off on Friday. You know what? Let me take a look. I'm looking at the wrong dates. Here we go. In terms of the sell-off here, really was the Nord Stream pipe being shut down or the gas pipe going to Germany, and that's providing natural gas to Europe. Again, 20% inflation in UK. I mean, I'm going to be honest here. I'm feeling pretty good to live in the United States right now in comparison. But again, Europe is basically, a disaster right now economically. So again, once they shut down the pipeline from Russia, that's where you got the sell off here. Pretty much just macro. I think that we retrace that this week. We'll get to 40.16. It's tomorrow. Foot Locker looks like there's a gap to fill. Foot Locker, I think that's FL. Let's see. If we're talking about the daily, yep, there is a gap to fill. This was post earnings. There's a gap to fill here at around 33.25. Could it break down there? If you break below the 200, then I would play puts here if you get volume to 33.20. Not a lot of room there, but I'm pretty sure you can catch something if you do trade Foot Locker, or if you trade the stock, maybe you'll gain $1 a share. Not terrible if you're into that. In terms of the rest of the day, guys, really SPY is my really main focus today. I think we get to 4,000 relatively soon, if not by tomorrow. Thoughts on NADA for this week? NADA? NADA? I don't know what NADA is. Let's see it. I think he means NVIDIA. NVIDIA, there you go. That's what I thought. I was like, NADA, what is that? New one. Let's go to the daily. Ooh, breaking below support. Not good. Up about $1 this morning. Take a look at the hourly for any kind of edge. If you're playing calls, you need to get above the 141 level. If we break down below the 3-week, you can see that 120.66 is my key level for calls. I mean, not calls, for buying the stock. Right here is your support, 126.60. So could you trade this week? Remember, it does kind of move very closely to the S&P. There's a gap to fill to the upside right around 149.73. I don't think there's much to play with there. I think I put that chart on Instagram as well. So there really wasn't a lot of edge. Take a look at the post, Santiago, regarding NVIDIA. I did that on Instagram. I'll do more of those charts as well, where I ask you guys for tickers. I didn't get a chance to this weekend, was with the family. It's my stepson's birthday next week, so we're just hanging out with him. Took him out to Disney this weekend. Really fun, as always. Thoughts on Asana? Asana. I don't know what Asana is. I want to say Asana. I have no idea.
It's an app for it's basically a Slack. So
Oh, okay.
It's a team-based app to create tasks.
I thought he was gonna say Asana, like Asana these nuts. That's what I thought it would be, which I thought would have been great. I like you get one like. You get one like. Uh, let's go take a look at QQQ this morning. We'll go to the hourly. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart give me anything on Qs here. I got a gap to fill on the daily at least. You could see that gap to fill right slightly there at 287.66. In terms of edge on the 1 hour, I think, well, 300 would be a nice trade, but we're trading at what, 296 now? 296.28. Yeah, you're not doing much until you get above 297.78. And then maybe you can do the 300 calls. I don't love it. I'd rather have SPY personally, as always. Jads gets the joke. Jads gets the joke. But I don't know what is it called again? Asana. I don't know what that is. I don't know. If he's talking about, yeah, I don't know what the ticker is, Chad. He's got to tell me. Leave it on the comment section of anything, and I'll take a look as always. We're gonna go and leave it there. I gotta head to the office. Have a great rest of your afternoon, guys. I will catch you guys tomorrow for the morning note. Cheers. Never heard of it. Asana. Really?